Day 158. I am loving this adventure, this challenge. I'm loving spending time into the Word, digging into it, committing to reading at least one chapter every day. And I'm loving that we do this together, that we're encouraging one another, that you inspire me to keep reading. 2 Corinthians chapter 9. Paul continues here talking about money and specifically giving as a collection for the church in Jerusalem. And almost ironically, yesterday we saw that the Macedonian church had been an inspiration for the church in Corinth, and Paul was using them as an inspiration for the church in Corinth to give. And here he flips it around and he says, you guys, you're deciding to give a year ago. That is what inspired the church in Macedonia. You were an example. In this chapter, we see what I really believe is a template for New Testament giving. There is so much just bad understanding, misunderstanding of God's heart towards giving, sort of on both sides of the pendulum, and this chapter corrects it. I know we've read this chapter a couple of times today, those of us who are faithful 2 or 3 times, maybe even in different translations, and it really is a chapter that is worth, again, reading slowly and allowing the truth of this chapter to permeate our hearts. The basic principles are that when we give, firstly, we should give bountifully, generously. We should give voluntarily, not forced and not by compulsion. We should give cheerfully. We should give with a smile. It is a desire in our heart, a willingness to give. And that's something that we can pray that God would stir that in our hearts. In this chapter, Paul quotes the Old Testament and other parts of Scripture so much more than the rest of the whole book of 2 Corinthians, about 5 or 6 direct quotations and allusions to Old Testament Scriptures here in this passage. He's building on the Old Testament beautiful foundation of giving. And then he says the fruit of giving, the outflow of giving, the why we give, is so that God may be glorified. There will be thanksgiving given up to God. God will be glorified. And he ties it once again to the biggest gift of all. We can only give because of the Father's indescribable gift in giving us Jesus.